Hello everybody, this is Adrian with Guns for Everyone, and I'm going to take this spare Glock 43X trigger and I'm going to do the 25-cent trigger job on it and see if I can improve the stock trigger pull. So let's go ahead and take the pistol apart and get started on this. I'm also going to be buffing up and shining up parts on the inside of the slide as well. So as you can see, this is a direct drop-in. This just happens to be a spare 43X/48 trigger assembly. So I'm just gonna shine this one up and then take the one that's in the pistol out. So let's get started with disassembling the slide and working on all the parts that we're going to be shining up to take any rough surfaces off. First gonna take out the barrel. Then we gotta take out the striker assembly and the striker safety. It's been a little while since I've disassembled a Glock slide, so I'm a little bit rusty on this. But let's go ahead and get to it. Go ahead and take that back plate off. Gonna remove the striker assembly and then disassemble that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the extractor plunger and spring, and then I have a little bit of a hard time remembering how to take out the striker safety. Gonna go ahead and just launch it really quick. Oops. Luckily it didn't go far. I was able to find it very quickly. Just landed on the other side of my bench. Just to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to be disassembling the striker in order to polish up the surfaces a little bit better. You're going to want to shine up that tail because it does interact with the trigger back here. As you can see, the trigger drops down and allows the striker to go forward. Also going to shine up the striker safety as well. That interacts with the top part of the trigger right here. This moves the striker safety out of the way, allowing the striker to travel fully forward to set the gun off. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the striker now. And reassembling these is extremely annoying just because there's two separate pieces that hold the spring in place. But disassembly is very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the trigger from the striker, the trigger from the sear housing. This is the connector bar. I'm going to shine that up too. This pushes the trigger bar down, allowing the striker to move forward and strike the primer. So I'm going to get a Dremel polishing compound and a buffing wheel and a wire brush. So I'm going to hook all this up onto the Dremel, and I'm going to start with the wire brush to go ahead and just knock off any big pieces of rough spots. So as you can see, this does shine up metal pieces pretty well, and the polish is just going to give it that mirror finish. Now you can wear gloves if you would like to. I was using this at a low RPM, so when it did touch my skin, it didn't bother it at all. So as you can see, the parts are starting to get a little bit shinier. The only problem I had with the connector was it was getting very hot very quickly. So just keep that in mind when you're polishing it off and holding it by hand. Once I did the preliminary cleaning with the wire brush, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the polishing compound. And I'm going to start this. You'll see it's going to give it a nice mirror finish. The compound does start to melt a little bit. It becomes a little bit more like viscous, like a liquid type. And that's perfectly normal. So I'm going to go ahead and polish it. Now what you want to do is put the polishing compound on the metal pieces that I am going to be hoping to smooth out and polish. And you're going to want to go back over it with a clean brush to get all the compound and whatever metal's off. You can see the brush is turning black, so you know it is working. And I am going to compare these parts to another set of parts that I did not polish, and you can absolutely see the difference between the two. So the connector got extremely hot. I had to keep putting it down while buffing it. So I'm going to take the dirty one off, and I'm going to go to a clean one now, no polishing compound, and I'm just going to go ahead and give everything a nice clean mirror shine. You can see, even reflecting against the light, it's extremely bright. The face on the striker is ridiculous. It turned into like a mirror, even the connector. Not so much on the striker safety, but it still did polish up pretty well. Go ahead and give everything a quick wipe down, and then you can see how shiny that is. The light is just reflecting off of it. Same thing with the connector. Almost a mirror shine. And the face of the striker is ridiculously shiny. So here is a stock Glock 48 slide, and I'm just going to compare the parts really quick. You can see the difference between the striker of the polished one and the unpolished one. Just the amount of light that's reflecting off of it is ridiculously crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble the 43X slide. And we're going to compare the trigger pull, or at least I am, to see how much it's improved compared to the unpolished one. So removing, here's a comparison between the polished one and the unpolished one. You can see the light reflects off the polished one a ton more. So reassemble this and just get it put back into the pistol. And the great thing about the Glock 43, or just the new Glocks in general, is you only have to deal with the one pin when dealing with the trigger. Let's go ahead and test this trigger pull. I will say there's definitely an improvement over the unpolished trigger. There's no feeling of the wall. It doesn't feel like it's mushy or grinding. The trigger is just sliding perfectly across each surface and breaking great. I like what this trigger feels like. And overall, with the power of editing, I shortened this video down to about 8 minutes. But this whole process only took about 45 minutes. It's definitely worth doing. It's a cheap, easy way to improve your trigger without having to purchase an aftermarket trigger. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.